We could say that science fiction looks forward and fantasy looks back. But there's been a trend in both literary and popular contemporary fiction to slip genre boundaries and blur historical eras. Alice Bell points to steampunk as a significant example of what we might call techno-nostalgia. It revels in mechanical aesthetics and references Victorian and Edwardian culture.
When people read these books, they say, when is that? What's the date? Is that turn of the century? Is it the future? Is it the past? And then they find out that it's a parallel world.
1 degree is not a large distance. On a compass, it is scarcely the thickness of a fingernail. But in certain conditions, 1 degree can be a very large distance. Enough to unmake a man.
Steampunk started as an adult-oriented genre in books such as The Difference Engine by William Gibson and Bruce Sterling. However, it's increasingly visible in children's media in books like Philip Reeve's Hungry City Chronicles, Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass, and Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. These books are very popular with children and adults alike and have spawned societies, blogs, and costumed author events. Here I am outside the West Point Grey United Church, an unlikely venue for a steampunk event, but there goes Lee Edward Fody. He's a renowned children's author. I'm going to ask him what he thinks of steampunk. Lee, I see you're here to hear Scott Westerfeld speak. Can you tell me what you could define steampunk as?
Steampunk, I can quite easily tell you?
Yes.
As far as I can tell, it's Victorian era settings with modern technology or alternate technology.
You look incredible.
Thank you.
Could you tell me what it is you liked about Scott Westerfeld's novels?
I just like the stories.
So, do you like what he does with science? How it's sort of strange and mechanical?
How they use the animals into machines.
Are you a clanker or a Darwinist? Have you read The Golden Compass?
Yes.
Do you consider Golden Compass a steampunk novel?
I haven't read it in quite a while. Some parts of it I'd say were steampunk, but mostly The Golden Compass and not quite so much the other one.
Thank you very much. You look absolutely incredible. Thank you. Children's novels especially are reimagined in visual media such as their own flash animated websites, graphic novels, and of course film. Popular children's author Scott Westerfeld credits the exuberance of the steampunk aesthetic with the resurgence of illustrated novels for adult and YA fiction. This steampunk film by Marc Caro and Jean-Pierre Jeunet has surprising parallels with The Golden Compass in the use of anachronistic apparatus to steal the dreams of children.
Steampunk is a science fiction subgenre. It began in the 1980s, And it has since, in the past few years, been given an actual physical form by artists from around the world. Essentially, it's a celebration of the arts and sciences of the Victorian era turned into physical form. It's a very broad-based discipline. It involves everything from literature to science fact to science fiction, art, sculpture, digital photography. And of course, it's very popular in film. Steampunk is essentially based on all of the sciences of the Victorian era. In science fiction, there's a very strong element of what they call what if. What if the Victorians had access to digital technology? What would it look like? It certainly wouldn't look like anything we'd see today. All of our digital devices wrapped in generic plastic. If the Victorians had access to all of our new technologies, it would be done in beautiful woods, brass, rivets, and there'd be an exposed mechanical element to all of the devices.
Best I heard it put, our world went down the fossil fuel road. In Golden Compass, that world went down the steam and baric power.
What is ambaric technology?
Ambaric technology is based loosely on armillary spheres. There's a cohesion between each and every one of the vehicles. So if you take the carriage, there's a big armillary sphere right in the central hub. Scoresby's balloon, 2 ambaric spheres, and the same again with Skyferry. And we've taken it all the way through to even a smaller prop.
Who's she? Dunno. I have to go back to the north very soon. And I'm going to need an assistant. Me? Go to the north?
I'm not sure that would be consistent with Lord Asriel's wishes for her education.
Maybe do.
The room that at the top there, in the roof, the one with the open window, that was my room when I was a student, and I gave that room to Lyra in the story. And you can actually get out of that window, and there's a little gutter behind the parapet in front of it. You can walk along, or crawl along, and get in the windows for the other staircase. So we used to do that quite a lot. And in the film we see a shot of Lyra between the chimneys up there, sort of walking along like this, balancing on the roof, with Roger, her friend, and they sit on the roof and she spits a plumstone out and hits a scholar on the head.
My Uncle Asriel said he'd take me to the north next time he goes. He swore it. What for? I'm supposed to be keeping an eye on them gobblers. Because they took them Egyptian kids up Banbury Way. They go after the poor kids, see?